What is going on, Sixers fans? Welcome into 7-6 Live Countdown presented by Tissot. I'm Lauren Rosen, and I am close to that little light that's getting bigger and bigger. I'm going to turn around and say what's up to everybody. Thanks to this fun new technology here at the center, I have multiple angles tonight. The Sixers have been gone for 4 games, and we're so excited to have them back in the center. And Brian Seltzer is also here with me. That was fun. I like having a new angle.
Well executed. Not only a great intro, but the pivot turn, look at the camera on your laptop, and toss. Looks like you've been doing it forever.
Hey, if we've learned anything in 2020, 2021, it's how to pick up new skills on the fly. So I'm happy to do it anytime.
Well done. Excellent job. Love the jig cam. That was terrific. Love the addition. Ryan Coletti, Trevor Gaffney, our production duo extraordinaire. And yes, welcome in. Welcome back. 7-6 Live Countdown presented by Tissot. It is great to see you, Lauren, at the center. Great to know the 76ers will be back there tonight. They take their 18-10 record out there against the 11-16 struggling Houston Rockets, which have lost 6 straight games. Sixers have dropped 3 in a row, went 1-3 on their Western Conference road trip. And Lauren, we do have some news right off the top tonight. The good first. Joel Embiid, it appears, will be back out there for the 76ers. He missed Monday's loss at Utah with back tightness. No Ben Simmons, however, on the heels of his career incredible 42-point performance against the Jazz. Ben not feeling all that well, so he's not going to be in lineup for the Sixers tonight.
Yes, indeed. And Doc Rivers did confirm or clarify, rather, these days everyone wants to ask what type of illness Ben has. It's a stomach flu. It's some sort of bug. Ben's going to be okay. Of course, the Sixers are going to miss him tonight, but coming off of a performance like he had on Monday, I'm sure he's excited to get back whenever he's feeling better. So best to Ben. And tonight, hopefully, we'll have the big fella back in the lineup with some opportunities for some other guys to get more touches in the absence of Ben Simmons and Shake Milton, who is still injured with that ankle sprain.
We're going to hear from Dwight Howard and his conversation with Lauren in just a little bit. Yes, good news about Shake Milton, and it sounds like he's making progress towards eventually returning, as the 76ers have had to not only get by without all-stars at a couple times these past couple games, and now including tonight, but also deal without Shake Milton. It was a tough road trip, Lauren, in the sense that the team went 1-3. The good news is they left South Philadelphia last week atop the Eastern Conference, and they're coming back to South Philadelphia, still in that same spot atop the Eastern Conference. The 2 teams behind them, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets, have been inconsistent as of well. And the Sixers got off to a great start in this game against Utah. You see they led by 10 points in the first quarter. Ben Simmons was incredible. I know he's not playing tonight, but his performance warrants repeat attention. Look at that dunk. And the Sixers put up a fight, Lauren, down the stretch as well. They gave themselves a shot, just couldn't seal the deal.
That's exactly right, Seltz. But Ben Simmons, this stat line, 42 points, 15 of 26 from the floor, 12 for 13 from the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 1 rebound shy of a 40-point triple-double, Seltz, with those 12 assists. It was really cool to see Ben get cooking early the way he did in this one. He had 19 points, in the first quarter alone, and love to see him adding some energy there at the end. Ben is a guy that can give a good emphasis on the other end of a dunk.
Dishing out some while proving to be a determined scoring presence in his own right as well. First 76er since Allen Iverson in November of 2006 to post a 40-point double-double in the assist column, not a point rebound double-double. And you know what, Lauren? No one does these type of things, at least in modern 76ers history. I was looking at Tobias Harris, who had another great showing for the Sixers as well. Wilt Chamberlain was the last player for the Sixers to put up the splits that Ben did in the game on Monday as he set up Matisse Thybulle for the jam right there.
Crazy stats from Ben on a huge night. He's a guy that's already had some huge nights, but it was cool to see him explode the way he did in the absence of Joel Embiid. Of course, the Sixers didn't end that game quite the way they wanted to, but they showed a lot of good stuff, as they did throughout that West Coast trip. Not the record they wanted to come home with, but a lot of lessons in tow for sure.
Again, no Ben Simmons. He's out with illness, non-COVID related for the 76ers, but we do want to honor the good performance he had in Monday's game. So let's get to some sound. Tobias Harris shared some very complimentary thoughts about his all-star teammate Ben Simmons after the game.
Man, from the start of the game, he was just on a mission out there, and you just saw another element of his game. I think even being at the 5 and being a roller and how fast he was rolling to the basket, and that opened up the floor for everybody pretty much out there tonight. But his pace and his ability, having a Gobert on him, a center, and to get in a lot of screens, but then to also be aggressive offensively. It was pretty amazing. Obviously, would have been better to get a win and have a 40-point triple double, but we just have to save that for another time.
All the more reason for Ben when he's next on the court to go out there and strive again to get that 40-point near triple double in a victory. But I thought, Lauren, one of the things that Tobias mentioned about Ben having to contend with Gobert at times, to me, this was one of the most amazing parts of the game, and it underscored the versatility and diverse skill set of Ben Simmons. He would go down and guard Donovan Mitchell on one end, all-star, and then have to play against a guy like maybe 3 to 4 inches taller than him, Defensive Player of the Year candidate twice, and all-star Rudy Gobert on the opposite end. I mean, who does that? No one.
Ben is truly one of a kind. It's something that we've heard Doc Rivers say all season long. But like you said, he can be guarded by anyone out there, and he can guard anyone out there. He's that type of weapon on the offensive end. He's that type of weapon on the defensive end. And all of his best skills were really on display Monday night.
Ben Simmons said he took it personally when he saw the Jazz matched him up with Rudy Gobert. He played like it. Ben Simmons weighing in afterwards.
Honestly, just been working on my mentality and my mental a lot these past few weeks. So I think my mindset it's not easy to do that. Change the way you play, or just certain things in the game. That come natural for certain people. I feel like I'm figuring it out. Obviously, my scoring has been a lot higher in the last 5-6 games. So as long as I can keep doing that and stay locked in and keep working on my mental, I think it's scary.
I do think that Ben speaks to a reality of the situation. You have someone like Joel Embiid who's playing so well and demands and warrants the touches that he gets because he's going to win you games, as he's shown. The Sixers would not be enjoying the strong start to the season they would without Joel doing what he's done, playing at an MVP level. And Ben bears some responsibility to make sure that Joel gets the touches that he needs. But at the same time, we also know that Ben is very special, and I can see that. For him, it's probably got to be a challenging balancing act at times. When do I go for mine? When do I make sure to get other people, like 2 other potential All-Stars and Joe and Tobias as well?
Well, it's something that Ben has emphasized himself. You're right, that he doesn't need to be getting 40, 50 points a night. He's happy as long as the team is able to win, is able to compete. But it was cool to see that when the team needed that scoring that he says he doesn't always need to provide, he sure can provide it.
And I think, too, that sometimes when we see the 76ers get off to really strong starts, it's when Ben gets off to strong starts, immediately setting the tone with his force, with the pace that he pushes. You could probably presume this was the way the Sixers were going to go about attacking Utah, and Mike Scott got the start in place of Joe. But there was no doubt about it. It was like Ben was sprung right out of the gates at the beginning of that game, and it was just downhill, downhill, downhill. And I think that helps set the tone for the team collectively and also gets Ben into an early rhythm.
No doubt about it. It's been really cool to watch the way that different guys can really stand out on different nights. I know we're going to get to Tobias Harris in just a second, who also had a phenomenal outing in Utah. So again, not exactly the record the guys wanted to come home with, being 1-3 on that road trip, but they really hung in every single game. And Doc Rivers actually said it well prior to this stream. He said that it shows that this team can beat anybody. They can also lose to anybody. And that's sort of the reality of the modern NBA. And luckily, this Sixers team has been beating more people than they've been losing to so far this year.
And I think we should note, not for Doc Rivers to do, we can editorialize here. The teams the 76ers lost to were good teams that are in the playoff conversation on that road trip out of the Western Conference. Doc felt like the one game the Sixers probably should have gotten, understandably, was Portland. They ran into a lot of turnover issues in that game, but the Sixers now look to right the ship against a struggling Houston squad on short rest. But as you said, Lauren, Tobias was fantastic. He was sub-20 in back-to-back games. That has not happened a lot this season. Burst for 36, the eighth 30-point game of his time with the 76ers. 3 off his career high. And like Ben Simmons, he was in a spot where he needed to step up without Joel Embiid and 2 guys who, like Joe, are trying to get to that all-star game, played like all-stars against the Jazz.
That was super clear. They both saw maybe the standings in terms of fan voting, and they both said, you know what, look, we are all-stars too, and they played like it. Tobias Harris, like you said, a season high 36 points, 14 for 24 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, with 10 rebounds. So another very impressive double-double for Ben and for Tobias. I love the way that he's been aggressive. Doc Rivers has commended him for being decisive, and it's just been cool to see such a confident Tobias Harris all season long.
Tobias, he just wants to see the team win, and that was something that he was talking about on Monday night.
Yeah, I mean, I always think there's more. On top of that, it's just doing whatever is needed. Now, I also know that the way that our team is, we have a lot of really good scorers. We have guys who fit the mold of us being successful, and sometimes that's not 24 shots for me, and I'm perfectly okay with it as long as we're winning. But in a game like tonight with Joel's out, it's a game to be more aggressive and get the looks that I want for our team. But all throughout being decisive, that's something that Doc says. After any game, he says that. So that's something for me that I'm always continuing to get better at, is being decisive, coming off of pick and rolls and making quick decisions, smart decisions for the squad. So, it's a tough loss to take, but, all in all, I think that we were out there fighting for each other tonight, and we got to go back home and we have to get a quick days of rest and be ready for our game at home and get on a win streak here.
As we take a live look into the center in South Philadelphia, see some of the 76ers warming up. I believe that's Danny Green and Seth Curry, some of the shooters for the 76ers. Danny closest to the basket and Seth on the far side of the floor. I think something, Lauren, that gets totally overlooked, and I did it before I worked in this industry and I was an NBA fan, something the fans just don't always consider is the duress the schedule puts you under. I mean, think about this. The 76ers were in Salt Lake City less than 48 hours ago. They're now coming back, dealing with the time difference in elevation. They got in, depending on how you look at it, late or early yesterday morning, had shoot around today, and now it's, okay, let's throw the ball up, see what happens.
A lot is demanded of these guys, and of course they are athletes. They are the best at what they do in the world, but the schedule certainly demanding. That's something that Doc Rivers spoke about a little bit earlier, talking about how difficult it is to adjust when you're on West Coast time to come back East Coast. Like you said, these guys got in the wee hours of the morning yesterday and have to play. Again, we've said that the Rockets are struggling, but every team in the NBA is a pretty good basketball team. So to turn around this quickly and have to have your body ready the way these guys do, especially in this crazy congested season, very impressive.
Something else that was top of mind for Doc Rivers and some of the players after the game on Monday, Dwight Howard suffered a loss in the family, still went out, played a great game, was huge in terms of what the 76ers were able to do on the glass to give themselves a shot. And then Dwight opened up a little bit more earlier today, Lauren, at his media availability about his grandmother.
Yeah, with everything that's going on in the world, I think sometimes we forget that people are still dealing with really difficult stuff in their own lives. And NBA players, future Hall of Famers like Dwight Howard are no exception. And I personally really appreciate the way that Dwight was able to share some fond memories of his grandmother this morning, talk about the significance of playing right after her loss. I was very appreciative for Dwight sharing some thoughts, and here they are.
Hey, Dwight.
Hey, Lauren, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Dwight, I'm sorry to hear about what you were going through with your family this week. And after the game on Monday, your teammates and Doc expressed how much it meant to them that you were able to be out there on the floor with them. Plus, you had your season high performance as a Sixer. So why was it so important for you to get out there with them on Monday?
Well, it was very difficult to play. I had found out that morning and just tried to get up and move around, but I couldn't. It really hit me, and I just tried to get myself ready to play. I didn't know if I could play, but I know my teammates, they needed me, just to be there, you know. And I needed them as well. And it meant a lot, that, this team and the coaches and the players and, everyone has been so, loving towards me. And I just want to go out there and play as hard as I could and just let them know that, no matter what, goes on in my life, I always give this team and this organization, all of me. And I just appreciate them so much.
Thank you for sharing that, Dwight, and thank you for even sitting down and doing media today. We really appreciate it. Tobias told us after the game on Monday that he's hoping these next few games can start a winning streak. So if you don't mind shifting gears back into basketball, what's it going to take for you guys to start winning a few and get some momentum going?
Just one game at a time. We had some really tough games on the road. A lot of things that we had to face as players, away from the game. So that kind of, took into effect in a lot of the games we had on the road, whether it be injuries, personal reasons, stuff like that. But just one game. We just need to win one game, and that's tonight. That's the game we got to focus on. We can't focus on what happened in those last 3 losses. We played against some real good quality teams, and I think that because of that, we learned some valuable lessons as a team, and I think it's going to carry over until tonight and also for the rest of the season. I don't take those the losses that we had as losses. I see them as learning lessons. We played against 3 teams that got 3 different styles of playing. They're very guard orientated, very well coached, very disciplined teams, and I think that is something that we need to see in order for us to be, a championship team. And despite, all the games that we lost on this road trip, there was not a game that we couldn't have won. So it shows how great we can be as a team, despite having to face any adversity. So I know when it's playoff time and it's crunch time, I think everybody on the team will be locked in and ready to go.
Thank you so much, Dwight. I appreciate you.
So the whole Sixers family is thinking about Grandma Howard today. Dwight went on to share that his grandmother was 97 years old. She watched every single one of his games. She always liked to say that today is a grand day. And that really stuck with me, hearing Dwight talk about someone who meant so much to him. And then he went on to talk about all the people in Philadelphia that mean a lot to him, the folks in the organization, his teammates, and why he felt the need to play on Monday despite dealing with such a difficult situation. So of course our thoughts are with Dwight and his family, and just all the respect in the world for A, deciding to play, B, deciding to do media, sit down and share his thoughts. And it was awesome to just hear a little bit about the way that Dwight grew up, and a wonderful lady. So of course we're all thinking about Grandma Howard tonight, and I'm sure Dwight is as well.
Well put. And a great story that Dwight shared was that he spent a lot of time with his grandmother growing up, and that to help incentivize him playing basketball, she would give him candy. So he would go out back and play basketball. They nailed the backboard, if I'm remembering the story correctly, to a tree on his grandparents' property, and that's where he learned, in part, to go out and play basketball. One, amazing story. 2, reassuring to me, because we do give our kids candy, despite us feeling self-conscious about it, that maybe perhaps someday, not to make light of this, the Seltzer kids could turn into NBA basketball players or WNBA basketball players. But it was a great story, multiple stories that Dwight shared, and I thought that one was pretty cool. It just, puts in perspective that these guys become megastars, but some of the humble beginnings that some of them truly begin from, again, backboard on a tree, making the most of the resources you have, and someone can turn into an NBA basketball player, all-star, future Hall of Famer. So really impressive stuff.
Dwight said that the backboard on the tree was not actually its original location at Grandma's house. The backboard was elsewhere, and he ripped it down learning to dunk. So they had to put it on the tree so it would get a little bit sturdier and be able to support a growing Dwight Howard as he continued to learn to dunk and become the man he is today. And he attributed a lot of who he is to his grandma. So once again, we're thinking about Dwight, and we appreciate everything that he's shared with us as a player and as a human so far this season.
So Dwight is going to be going up against one of his former squads, the Houston Rockets. Some obvious familiarity between these two teams, of course, even more so than Dwight and Houston. Daryl Morey, 76ers president of basketball operations, going up against the Houston Rockets for the first time since leaving them. No, Daryl will not be in uniform for the 76ers, but still noteworthy nonetheless. And Houston, they've been so up and down, Lauren, throughout this season. 11-16 in the West. 13th might make it seem like they're farther outside of the top 8 than they actually are. But they're also banged up right now. They've lost 6 in a row. Christian Wood is out tonight. Eric Gordon is doubtful. Dante Exum is not with the team. They also have Victor Oladipo, doubtful with the right foot strain. PJ Tucker is questionable. That's a lot of talent.
And of course, this all in the shadow of trading James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets
Right.
just a few weeks ago. So this is a team that was already absorbing some impact. And then we saw Christian Wood off to a great start this season. We all know what Victor Oladipo brings, having faced him many times as Sixers fans. So it's interesting to see how this team is going to recover from a big change and now dealing with an injury bug as well. You got to feel for them a little bit, but not too much because they're the opponent tonight after all.
John Wall averaging 20 points per game, 6.5 assists. There is also a man named DeMarcus Cousins who has been starting for Houston. Happy for Cousins to see him back out there on the court. He's certainly had an up and down career in the NBA on and off the court, but that is a matchup of all-stars between him and Joel Embiid tonight. And as we shift to our Tissot keys to the game, brought to you by the great people at Tissot, I think something we can bring up tonight, just because I'm going to be selfish here, Lauren, and do this for the sake of thematic segues. I will go first, is for the 76ers to be on guard, especially without one of the best backcourt defenders in the league, Ben Simmons. You have someone like John Wall, who is a terror in transition. Get back, guard the guards, really center in on that potential transition problem area, especially as we saw guards gave the Sixers a lot of problems on this road trip.
No doubt about it. I think you have some extra seconds left, but I might be able to actually cram my key into your leftovers here. I said feed the big fella. Of course, Joel Embiid didn't play on Monday, expected to play tonight, but should Joel not be available, you can still feed Dwight Howard. You can still take advantage of the fact that the Rockets are missing Christian Wood. Despite having Boogie Cousins, I don't know. I like the Sixers odds down low tonight, so feed the big fella.
Tremendous. In full agreement. Your Tissot keys to the game. We'll do this again. We'll plug. Thank you, Tissot, for the Tissot Chrono XL NBA Special Edition. Real NBA basketball leather right there. I know, Lauren, yours is in the mail. We can swap off back and forth. I think the Sixers
I
record
know
might
mine's
be
coming,
1-0
and I
in
am.
games that I've shown up my wrist.
There you go. And I'm so excited to be able to do that with you soon enough. Thanks as always to Tissot for being such an awesome partner of my favorite at least, thing to do.
That's right. Affordable luxury, innovative, stylish, Swiss-made. Follow them at Tissot on Twitter and at Tissot.us on Instagram. All right. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Ryan Coletti and Trevor Gaffney. Got some new tools to play around with. DJ Ghost, I miss seeing that man. I miss hearing that man. But he is always bringing the vibes pregame at the center, which is terrific to see. 76ers looking to snap out of a losing streak while extending Houston's. Enjoy the game tonight. Look for the scoop on the 76ers podcast network tomorrow. Oh, how about that? Happy birthday, DJ Ghost.
Happy birthday indeed to DJ Ghost. I can confirm to you guys that as much as we miss the fans and the vibes that they bring, DJ Ghost is bringing the same energy despite the lack of fans in the building. He has made it quite an atmosphere in here alongside Sixers ENT, Christian Crosby, and the crew. So shout out to DJ Ghost. Happy birthday.
Love it. Hopefully the Sixers get a dub for the DJ on their birthday. Enjoy the game.
Thanks, guys.